You've waited a lifetime to look better and feel better, and now here's your chance. Fitness Friday on WNDB. Call 239-0033 and have your questions answered on health, fitness, and a better life. Fitness Friday is brought to you by Bodez by Tasso & Company, 1140 West Granada Boulevard in Ormond Beach. And now, here's your host, Tasso Kyriakis.
Hey.
What are you laughing at?
Hey. Well, that was neat seeing John and Jimmy Huger as I came into the studio today.
I didn't know Jimmy was 99.
Yeah, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
You know, those guys in his age, you know, something people don't remember is that when Martin Luther King walked in Alabama in the 60s, the only clergyman to walk at his side was Archbishop Jacobos of the Greek Orthodox Church.
Really?
If you look at the 1964 cover of Martin Luther King walking through Alabama, to his right is the head of the Greek Orthodox Church.
No kidding.
Because, you know, the Greeks had suffered the same kind of problems, challenges that the black community did. You know, they were enslaved for 400 years underneath the Ottoman Empire. You know, they came to this country for opportunity, worked through the different prejudices that they had. So it's a wonderful story. I think that's why I get along so good with all the guys I played football with and stuff like that. You know, there's an appreciation in the history of our families, of what our families have gone through. Certainly, I haven't seen it to the extent that they had personally, but it's neat to see people who have persevered. So that's a great story. And, you know, Dave, later in the show today, it must be the weekend to help out kids, because Billy Hagan is going to join us to talk about the Bear and Bud Asher Foundation and the event that they have going on Saturday night at
Just
Hilton.
back from Russia.
Just back from Russia. Maybe we'll hear a little bit about that. So I want to spend a little time. You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't start by thanking my two sponsors of the show right now. To thank Dr. Lorenzo Fon, who has been our sponsor for so long now and helping us out, getting this show and keeping this show rolling, and the things he does for us, helping our athletes train and bringing people in, whether you have chronic injury or you have short-term trauma that you've just had occur to you. Dr. Fon offers you a solution. I still think the biggest solution he offers is stress management. And I appreciate him. And if you want to get hold of Dr. Fon, it's 615-1203. He's in Ormond Beach on West Granada. And our other sponsor who's come on for this quarter is Kalen's Furniture. And Rod Gould with Kalen's and Lenny Frazier have joined us. They're helping us put on a wonderful membership promotion at Bodez Personalized Fitness. What we've done is we've created a giveaway to our members to help us grow our membership. And one of the grand prizes, there's going to be more than this, but one of the grand prizes is a stressless chair, which we've had a stressless chair in the club for, I think, 12 years now.
See, and I thought it was a massage chair, like
no, it's not a massage
with the motor
chair.
and
no, it's just it is a very ergonomically correct chair.
Totally correct.
And it's not a solid. It's like two different pieces. You have the foot piece is separate from the chair itself, so that you can position it so you can really help yourself become more comfortable. But every person that comes to that club wants to sit in that chair that we have. Now we actually have three of them there, because we have the one that we own.
3 chairs, no waiting.
And then we have 2 that are just sitting there for demonstration. And none of these chairs are as good as the chairs we're going to give away, which is called the Governor, which is a limited edition. So I want to thank Kalen's Furniture for helping us, because we're trying to grow our membership. The reason for that growth is because we've brought some new things into the program at Bodez Personalized Fitness. You know, everybody always wants to know what's new. What are you doing new? Well, the fact of the matter is, when you have a correctly built program and you follow that guideline in that program and you work intensely and focused at it, you're going to get progress. And, you know, but that doesn't mean that science doesn't come along and show you, or technology, and show you things that you can do to make your programs better. So one of the things that has brought technology into our field is we have looked at, you know, for years we offered the fitness programming through classes. Right. And I love the concept. The reality of the matter, though, was that we did not have the greatest turnout or the greatest success with them as I would like to have had. And one of the challenges we always face is when you wanted to have an exercise class. Let's say you showed up at the gym and you thought there was going to be a step class or a body pump class or a body attack class at that time. and it turned out to be a body flow stretch class. And so now you said, well, gee, I really like taking class from Dave, but it's a body flow class, and today's my day that I wanted to pump.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, we've changed that with what we have done. We have brought in a system that is called the Fitness on Demand system. And Fitness on Demand doesn't mean that you want to say, hey, you know what? I want to be fit. Let me demand to be fit. What it says is that Fitness on Demand offers you the opportunity in your schedule, at your pace, and at your comfort level to do a class. I think more injuries occur in classes that are group oriented because people tend to get in there and get competitive with one another. You know, they actually get in there and they say, oh, my friend's better than I am at this. Oh my God. They'll either quit going to the class because I felt stupid in there, or they quit going to the class because they got hurt in there. Well, what we've done with Fitness on Demand, it offers you the class you want at the time you want it and with the best instructors in the country. So whether you like to pump, dance, stretch, box, strut, meditate, you can now fit a class into your schedule as a private class or a class with friends. Now, Dawn Hansard is still coordinating a schedule of varied classes, which will allow you to have a class, okay, where there is a group of people there. But there are over 120 classes that range from 9 minutes all the way up to a workout of a traditional 1 hour class, and you pick them. You shape up in them with their, from boot camps to booty shapers. They're all there. So Bodez by Tasso and Company is now offering Fitness on Demand and exercise classes as part of our membership. And part of that special offer is that you can join for $14. We'll start your membership. So, and I know we have a special caller. He's on a busy schedule today. So.
Oh yeah, he said he's going to call early.
Yeah. Hey Lloyd, welcome to the show. I know you're traveling up the state, so hopefully we get a good connection here. How you doing today?
Yes, I'm doing great, man. Good morning to you. How are you today?
Wonderful, wonderful. Lloyd, I just was telling everybody about the stressless chair and how excited we are that Rod and Lenny Frazier have come into the agreement with us to be sponsors of the radio show and have brought forward the stressless chair. First of all, I gave them a little bit of background, but let's have you give them as the guy who knows the chair better than anybody. Talk about the stressless chair, because this is a chair that the one we're giving. If you go to buy a normal one, I mean, a buddy of mine came in and he said, "Man, those are good-looking chairs. I want one of them." It says, "How about your buddy doing a cash deal with me?" And I go like, "Well, listen, I'll ask him." He says, "Yeah." He says, "I'll give him $200-300 of cash under the table." And I go, "Well, first of all," I said, I talked to my buddy. He says, "Number one, there is a minimum price they must charge for the chair to keep the integrity and quality of the chair at the top. And number two, $200 isn't going to get you the ottoman that you put your feet on," because that chair is very valuable. And let's talk about why there's so much value. Why would someone spend for a stressless chair $2,000 or $3,000?
Well, the product, first of all, is manufactured in Norway with extremely excellent what we refer to as engineering specification. Now, most of the product, I hate to say it, that you're looking at in the market today, it's made in Taiwan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, perhaps China. And there's nothing really wrong with that, except if you're expecting extremely high quality, you're just not going to get it. And quite frankly, you also don't know what the raw materials are. So you have the potential for carcinogenic chemicals in the foam. They frequently will use formaldehyde to deal with their wood issues. So it's a lot easier than curing it the proper way. And so the short route, yes, it produces a much less expensive product, but it's not healthful. And of course, it's also not orthopedic. And we had discussed before, stressless chairs from Norway, they are manufactured to fit the exact body profile of each individual. So they actually take the human spine and mold a chair to it. So we make a chair for a 5'4" woman that might weigh 110 pounds, but we also make it for a 5'4" woman that might weigh 105 pounds or 135. It doesn't matter. So they mold the chairs to fit the variety of the human spine. There is no other company in the world. So yeah, of course, a lot of times, price is beneficial. if you're looking to furnish a house affordably, there's lots of ways to do that. And Kalen has very good values in products that are not so very expensive, as do others. But when you come to a precision orthopedic seating system, something that is built just for you, yeah, you're not going to get it cheap. And really, our MRP pricing structure is the United States is the lowest price for these products anywhere in the world. If you buy them in Norway, they're about $300 to $400 more expensive. And the question you might ask is, well, why? And the answer is that they need U.S. dollars. There isn't enough ability to run their factory just with Norwegian consumers or Swedish consumers or Danish. They need the American consumer. So they actually subsidize the U.S. market. So these chairs are a lot less expensive than they are in Germany or Belgium or England or Norway, Sweden, Holland, etc. So they're a great value. But the medical benefits is the primary reason why I particularly like them. I can tell you from experience, I have 2 fully herniated discs that occurred to me at the age of 40. I have to take full accountability for it because I abused my body. I did not take care of myself as the way I should. So I had to go into a system of incredible amount of stretching, of isometrics, of yoga, and also weight and lifting in order to strengthen my core. And I never had to have surgery. I had to modify the mattress that I was sleeping on. And to be honest with you, if I had sat in a regular chair that was not contoured my body, I would have had to have back surgery. Such as it is, I'm now, well, let's just say older than that. I now am climbing mountains up to 20,000 feet at elevation with a backpack that weighs 65 pounds, and I've never had surgery. The chairs are amazingly comfortable and amazingly helpful. And keep in mind that the average American day is spending 4 to 4.5 hours a day in a chair.
Right.
So if you're just sitting in a piece that may be cheap, that's terrific. But your body is going to react to that. If not when you're young, as you get older.
Well, you know, I'm looking. You sent me a Medifax, Medifax sheet on this, and it says, you know, number one, majority of people come to me with a back problem that's been identified. They say, hey, I have problems with my L4-5. That's probably the most common area that we see problems. Stressless chairs do an incredible job of supporting the L1-5 region of the spine. Men, especially over time, can develop very severe low back problems due to sports injuries, auto accidents, heavy labor, things like you're talking about, slouching for years. You know, sitting in these chairs where you watch TV and sort of slouch down like the guy, who's the guy Al Bundy on Married with Children. You know, he'd slouch in the thing. I bet he had some back pains. But, these chairs are better from the standpoint of supporting that. You talk about the other area that concerns women. You know, one of the reasons I have a neck machine in my club is because one of the most neglected areas for women to train, especially women, is the neck, because this is one of the top areas where osteoporosis and osteoarthritis begins. Well, stress chairs are properly fitted so they support, and take away some of that discomfort. Because, how many people walk through the day, they get headaches, shoulder pain, all from that standpoint. Now you start to understand why people enjoy, why the joke is, this is my favorite chair in the club. And, from a standpoint of resilience, that chair has been there for 12 years and looks just the same as the brand new ones that Rod and them brought over for people to see when they're there. Also, they talk about the knee replacements, which we deal a lot with people who have had knee and hip replacements. So when you're fitted for this chair, you need to support your Achilles tendon. You need to use that ottoman to help you from the support and comfort. And that's all done. You know how to do that, and really helps from that standpoint. So this is a really neat giveaway. We've given away big screen TVs. And people would come in, they look at the big screen TV, or they look at the computer, or they look at the iPad we were giving away as a member promotion. They go like, wow, that looks really cool, but I don't know if I could ever use that. Not one person has walked through the doors and seen the sign, find out how you can win this chair, one of these chairs, and gone up to the front desk and go, they don't come and go, oh, I could never win that because I couldn't use it. They go, how do I win that chair? And it's just a simple member promotion of referring your friends. We want you, our members, to benefit. And the other members will be going into drawings. The other people will be going into the drawings for other prizes. But Lloyd, we're excited about that. My staff is excited about it. You know, it's something they enjoy telling people about now. At this last meeting, they received their Medifax handout sheet so they would know how to talk about the chairs and why it's different. Because quite frankly, you know, people are used to buying $600 chairs as lounge chairs or things. And you told me last time we talked about the difference between buying one of those completely, one of those lounge chairs, not lounge chairs, what do you call them? Recliner chairs that you put your feet up in, you know, using one of those. You told me the difference between those and using the stresses chair. Let's talk about that for a moment.
Well, you know, the benefit of a for instance, a brand like Lazy Boy, which is certainly a very good company, the only benefit of that product is that you have an ottoman that when you want it, it pops out, and then you return it. These chairs are completely flat on the feet, on the back. They're a good brand. It's a good product, well-known company, plenty of integrity, but they're not orthopedic. You know, if you look in the mirror at yourself, you know, after you take a shower while you're naked, you're going to find that you got curves everywhere. You know, you're curved on your sides. You have laterals that are curved. Your back has a concave indentation that needs to be supported, not only while you're sleeping, but while you're sitting as well. Of course, our ottoman has to be, you know, loose, but the ottoman is contoured. And if you look at your legs, we're rounded everywhere. So why should a seating system be completely square off? And the answer is it shouldn't be, but it's much cheaper to make. Foam comes off of sheets in squares, in rectangles. So it's much, much, much cheaper to build a product that is square or rectangular. But when your body gets in it, your body modifies to the chair. The chair doesn't contour to you. So, you know, so many people today, and if you put a video camera on the wall while people are watching television, let's just say, which is a great relaxation, usually plenty of good shows, you're going to see somebody strung out with their feet, you know, crossed in front of them, slouching, and the curve in your lower back is now being hemorrhaged. You're forcing it flat. Now, it won't hurt you for a 2-hour TV viewing, but over the course of 3 to 4 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week, or more days a week, times 15 to 20 years, you will hemorrhage your spine. And you're going to do it to yourself. You don't have to be a contractor. You don't have to be hauling cinder blocks. You don't have to be, digging fence post holes. All you have to do is sit and watch TV and reverse curve that spine long enough, and you're going to have a problem. And if you talk to if you're young, fine, talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents. You know, they have massive issues. 80% of Americans are going to have problems with their spine. So taking care of it from an exercise standpoint is critical. By the same token, you better have a good mattress and you better have a good seating system, because you spend 8 hours a day on a mattress, theoretically or in actuality, and you spend an average of 4 hours a day in a chair. That's where you should spend your money. And you better be working out and exercising. Keep in mind the proper nutritional balance and also eating proper whole foods is all part of healthy living. We're just one component of it. But if you ignore any single component, it will have a tragic effect. Now, if I may, the chair that we're offering at your studio, that is a limited edition chair. And that chair has been one of the most sought-out chairs worldwide for approximately 24 years. So the bottom line is that this isn't just a chair. It's like the crown jewel of our collection. And the Kalen people were happy to say, look, you know, we'll do this as a giveaway. It is a $3,000 fitting machine. They're awesome. And you can use it 3 to 5 hours a day, 7 days a week for 25 years and never service it. Never. Nothing. There's no springs to break. There's no levers to come loose. There's nothing that can go wrong with these chairs. We recommend you put a leather conditioner on it once every 6 months just to keep the leather soft and pliable. You sit in it. It works easy. It lasts a long time. And this chair is something that whoever gets it, they're going to be loving it for 25 or 30 years. It's awesome seating system.
And Lloyd, you know, you said something there. You said it's a sitting machine, and you know the difference is at Bodez. I really like to accentuate high quality things. You know, I study the science behind why we make changes in our programming when we make them. I don't just say, oh, here's a fad. You know, right now, one of the things I feel is a fad is a CrossFit that's in vogue right now, as well as boot camps. I haven't gone that direction because I don't see the science and the safety behind these things. So the 2 points that I was just reminded of in your little talk there is, number one is the reason I start out buying Nautilus machines and now buy Med-X machines is because those are the best. They all look alike. They literally all look alike. But in the mechanics, how they operate and how they're built, you know, I have machines that are 15 years old that are Med-X machines that look like they're brand new as long as we do a good job maintaining them, because they're built so well and they're built so differently from what is out there. Whereas most of the companies in the fitness industry want you to have to turn their machines over every 5 or 6 years. The second thing that came to mind when you're talking is I have a member who has COPD, and he went. Now, COPD is a lung disease. It makes it hard for you to breathe. You can't take the big deep breaths and that. And so he went, when he came and saw the chairs, he says, how do I get those? Those are really comfortable. I feel very comfortable in them and stuff. And so I said, well, they're at Kalen's Furniture. So he says, go down there. I said, well, you can win it, Mike. He goes, oh, hell no. He says, I haven't got time to go win it. He says, I'm going to go buy me one. Well, he ends up, he buys two. And now the other day he's telling me that he can sleep at night now because they taught him how to put it in a nap mode. And he sleeps at night. And when he used to try and sleep in his regular recliner, his back and everything would hurt. He'd have to use pillows and things like that. But he sleeps in this thing probably 3 days a week, he says, when he's really tired. He just can't get the rest in his bed that he's gotten used to not being deprived of. He uses the stressless chair to sleep in. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah, there's many folks that are blessed by actually having these chairs, and I could go along with that list for veritably hours. But the bottom line is that if you were to fall asleep while you're watching TV, okay, in whatever position you happen to be in, then what's going to happen is you're going to wake up, maybe it's a half hour later, maybe 45 minutes. You might have a kink in your neck because your neck was ratcheted the wrong way. Your hand may start to tingle because you've cut off blood flow to your hand. You may have a cramp in your leg, or you may simply have some back pain or stiffness. All of this is because, plain and simply, your body's letting you know, hey, dude, you are abusing me. You know, your hand doesn't fall asleep because you're treating it nicely. You're cutting off blood flow to the hand, therefore it wakes you up. Because if you cut off blood flow to any appendage for long enough, well, the ultimate destination of that is amputation. You lose the function of it. So you have got to take good care of your spine. And, yeah, sure, I mean, there's people with emphysema, breathing disorders, scoliosis of the spine. We have a lot of folks that have bad allergies. I noticed this year was a particularly bad year with oaks because we had a lot of folks coming in saying that they were thinking about needing to sleep more upright. You stack the pillows up in your bed, your back's going to be horrific for that too. You can't sit up in the bed, sleeping in an inclined way because the mattress is flat. So you're going to get a bad back from that. So one problem leads to another. And you, of all people, know that. You have to take care of all components of the body. You've got to take care of your hamstrings. You've got to keep care of your calves. You have to stretch your Achilles tendons. You've got to keep all of that pliable as well as strong if you want to have a balanced core. So stressless chairs doesn't solve. You guys do, in your club, what has to be done to keep the human body right, to get it right. But you've got to also take the steps to take care of yourself after the fact. And that's when you're done your workout, that's when you need to be sitting in a chair to let those muscles, absorb into the perfectly profiled chair for your body. And incidentally, you can't just walk in to Kalen and pick out the chair. You need to have a consultant work with you. Those folks in there, some of those folks have had training for 24 years on how to fit, precision fit, and proper. So, how many people do you go to that are trained for 24 years in anything?
Right.
Let alone, that's amazing to me.
Well, and again, Lloyd, I appreciate the involvement of Kalen's for Rod and Mike Massey have been members of the club for a great period of time. They're regular exercises. You can tell that because they're regular exercise, they have a better quality of life. They get around and are able to get things done and stuff. And we've, in Rod's case, haven't had to deal with too many injuries. In Mike's case, we've had to deal with some injuries over the years that he had because he runs a a warehouse, and in doing that you get caught in different positions that put a strain on your body, and we've worked through that, and we've always been able to keep them exercising. So I want to encourage people to come by, see the stressless chairs, whether you come by and see them at Bodez as you tour the club and look at our different memberships, that you can now begin your membership at Bodez for a $14 enrollment fee is what will be your investment. You'll pay a $20 card fee, and you'll be off and running with your membership. You'll choose the membership that you want. And then from there, you can see the stressless chairs, or you can just go to Kalen's first and say, listen, I don't want to walk in a health club, because you're like the other people. You think, oh, I'm the only one that's not fit in the whole world, and everybody's fit in there. That's not true. I'm looking at a picture on my computer of a picture of a friend of mine, Steve Robinson, who in December of 2010 joined us and realized there's no way he could, keep living the way he was. And when he looked in the mirror, and he said, he wanted to live his life, and he wanted to enjoy his life, and he lost 130 pounds, and he lost his medicines. He was taking 11 medications and 2 shots a day. And he gained a quality of life that people out there, most of them, can only envy now. And the key to the system has been working for 26 years for us at Bodez Personalized Fitness. There's no gimmicks, there's no tricks. It's just having a system that works. And the key to the whole system is having great partners that will help you get the message out, like Kalen's Furniture has done for us, and putting up the stressless chair, the limited edition stressless chair, so we can offer it as a giveaway, so our members can go out and tell the story of the Steve Robinsons that they know at the club, and involve in a great program from that standpoint. And Lloyd, I appreciate you taking time. I know you're traveling up the middle of the state to go do some work, and joining us today. And people can call 672-6464 if they want to get the opportunity to join the membership at Bodez by Tasso and Company. So that's thank you very much, Lloyd, for joining us.
Yes, my pleasure. And I can tell you, just from traveling around the state, I work in Miami, I work in Lauderdale. My main residence is in Melbourne, but I work in Atlanta. I also work in the Panama Canal area. Nobody has a value like you do in that club. That's incredible. And to be honest with you, I'll pay that much for a single workout when I'm in Miami. And also in, believe it or not, Panama City in the Republic of Panama. So, it's a real deal. And when you offer free things like this, it's a great reason to be affiliated with Bodez. Okay. But God bless you all. Thank you. And, try out these stressless chairs.
Hey,
Once
Lloyd,
you do, it'll change your life.
Hey, Lloyd, you need to get up into Daytona so we meet each other in person. We've been doing a lot of talking on the phone. We haven't met in person yet, though.
You know what? I'm going to need to come up anyway to do a training session up at Kalen. So I do. Maybe I'll come into the club, spend a little time, and that'd be awesome. I'd love to do that.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
All right. Thank you. And Dave, we have another caller whose voice might sound familiar to people, right?
You think?
You think? Hello?
Hello, comrades.
Mr. Putin.
That was my Russian accent.
That's your Russian accent.
How many stray dogs did you bring back with you, Billy?
11 teams, 7, a couple, none. I let everybody else. I just found out, Dave Lang, that a local organization, if I'm right or wrong, I'm not sure, but I think I have the right idea, brought some back or had some shipped over from Sochi?
Yeah, Arnie or somebody. Arnie, yeah.
Was it Arnie?
Nikki Lynn and Arnie.
Oh.
I don't know how she got the dogs, but yes, they're here.
Good for them.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known about that when I was over there, or I don't even know if they came over. I don't know how many locals we had over there, but good for them. Good for them.
Hey, so look at the people we have. We have Nikki Lynn that goes over to Sochi and gets all those dogs, stray dogs. And then we have Arthur Jones, who goes to Africa and picks up 98 elephants because they're an endangered species and brings them to Florida.
I'm sorry?
Did you not remember that story? It was on ABC when
No.
Arthur, because they were hunting the African elephants for their tusk. Arthur, a lot of research Arthur Jones did for the Nautilus organization to develop his machines and understand function and physiology. One of the things he had a romance, I guess, with reptilian animals like snakes and alligators. So one of the reasons he had that romance with that was because they're one of the few species that are 100% fast twitch muscle fiber. So he could study the function of the snake and the alligator's muscles. He could study their function and their physiology, and then he could apply it to how to properly train. By the same token, he had a 450-pound gorilla, which is a higher slow twitch but very powerful animal that he studied as well for length and scope. So Arthur had this. He just loved animals, right? You know, he had a show in the '60s that was called the oh my goodness, the Wild. Out in the Wild or something like that. It was like that Marlon Perkins thing with the animals. And Arthur actually invented the first camera that was mounted to view big game in its natural habitat. Well, Arthur and I was talking to Gary Jones, who is Arthur's son, who is the inventor of hammer equipment. You know, and he was telling me about how they grew up in South Africa and Africa, and actually on game reserves and stuff like that when he was younger, you know, before he came to this country. And but Arthur at one time heard about them hunting out these African elephants. So he modified two 767s and flew over to Africa, picked them up, and then flew back over here and brought them to Ocala. And I don't think that you ever got to go to the Ocala Medics Center at Arthur's house, but he had a runway that he built the 747, 767 style runway over there, so he specifically dropped down these animals when he came back from Africa. And and they were roaming. He had them roaming. He had the gorilla over there. He had at one point had several hundred alligators, you know, and snakes that he had. And so we know some pretty unusual people, Billy. And one of those unusual people you would be honoring on tomorrow night. How about that for a segue?
Like that.
You know, we just had Jimmy Huger in here with his son John, and they were talking. They were talking about Mr. Huger's golf charity event that he's having next Saturday. But and I said it must be a day for scholarships that help young kids. So let's talk a little bit about the Baron Bud Asher Foundation.
Sure. Well, in 2011, Yubi and I,
Don Young and I, along with a couple other alumni, yourself, and we were sitting around, Chris Aceball, a few other guys, and we talked about doing something for our beloved alma mater. And once we got to going, we decided that it would probably be best that we do something in the spirit of Coach Asher, which was to help anybody. So we created the Baron Bud Asher Foundation, unbeknownst to Coach Asher, and we announced it at a night where he wanted to get together with all of his former players. And he said, Billy, you know, I'd love to see everybody. So everybody to me was the classes of 80 when I went to school, and I sprinkled in a few people that I knew, such as yourself, a little older, to come in. Well, then he said, Billy, I'd love to see the guys from the 60s. From the 60s? You got problems there, buddy, because I don't even know what happened then. Yeah. So we found some more guys. We got Coach Asher together. We went to the Oyster Pub, and we announced that we would like to start the foundation for Coach. So we honored Coach as the first guy. And the idea was to have a nice dinner, recognize people that we consider pillars of our community for their services in the community, athletically, around town, the beautification, the enhancement, what have you. And all along, we wanted to raise some monies to help some of the kids that were in need, whether it was for a book down payment or some extra money for housing or some sort of scholarship. It wasn't going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars per kid, but we knew that we'd be able to make an impact on somebody, to help them out along the way, again, like Coach Asher would do. So we had the first dinner. It was awesome. A lot of people showed up. Larry Little came back. Wes Chandler was here. Dr. Ernie Cook spoke. They gave a couple proclamations to Coach Asher. Great night. So the board of directors got together again. We said, man, no doubt the next person is Harry Wendelstead. Got it all going, and then Uncle Harry passed away. So we moved our date, and we wanted to accommodate the umpires. And we had Major League umpires in attendance. We had the Major League umpire past, present, future. We had the attorney here. We had Chuck Murphy here. His wife, when she was around, God rest her soul, she was there. We've had Gator Burt. We've had a whole bunch of people coming in. And we've also had people like Billy Mormon,
Coach Mormon, guys that I'd never even heard of up until the time that we started the foundation.
Right.
So we honored Uncle Harry, had a great night. Now we're into our third one, and we decided that we thought it was fitting to honor Dr. T.K. Weatherall, who we consider not just a pillar, but he's as homegrown as it gets. Went to Port Orange Elementary, graduated from Mainland High School, went on to be a star at Florida State University, still holds a record for the longest kickoff with, again, Coach Billy Mormon, who in between our last two events has passed away. But again, names that from from the past keep popping up as, again, the word that we like to use as pillars of our community. So tomorrow night, we're honoring Dr. T.K. Weatherall. He's coming in from Tallahassee to be with us. And, we think it's going to be another star-studded event. To some people it may not mean much, but, when we bring in people from the past dignitaries, it's just really neat. And, Dr. Weatherall has done just about everything, a la Coach Asher. Worked at Bethune-Cookman.
Was provost at DBCC.
He was at DBCC at the time, which is now DSC, right? And of course, on the Florida House, he was a former Speaker of the House. And then he ran Florida State. He was the first alum to go back to Florida State and be the head of Florida State. I want to say, 5, 6, 7 years he probably was there. So we got in touch with Dr. Weatherall. He was thrilled. We talked to Coach Asher. This is the last one that Coach Asher obviously knows about, because myself, Ty Lohman, and Don Young, UB, we were at Coach Asher's house, just kind of huddled around Coach, just laughing about some of the old times. And Coach Asher brought up the foundation and asked who we were going to honor. We started throwing around a couple names, and as soon as we said Dr. Weatherall's name, he said, "That's it. That's the guy."
Right.
He said it was a great choice. So we're happy with the decision. And this is a tough weekend for us. This will be the third event, Toss, that we've had for the foundation. It's our third different time of the year, because it's the best way that we can accommodate the honorees. And as everybody knows, after the dinner, it's Palm Sunday, so it's an Easter week. It's the Masters. It's the Florida State spring game. I mean, we've heard them all as to why people can't make it, and it's a shame, but we understand. And at this point, like I told you at lunch, it's more about the quality of attendees more than it is the quantity at this point.
So now, people who want to still attend, who are in town and don't have anything to do Saturday night, how would they get hold of a ticket or a space? It's going to be at the Hilton. We should probably tell people it's going to be at the Hilton. The wine and cheese party starts at 5:30 tomorrow.
Right.
But the other details of it, so they know and they can come if they want.
Okay. The quick details are, like you said, the wine and cheese is at 5:30. The dinner is going to follow at 6:15. It's going to be at the Daytona Beach Hilton, which is where we've had it each of the first two times we've had it. It'll be in the grand ballroom of the South Tower, the original building. And if anybody is wanting to come out and be amongst some people, rub some elbows with some probably people that you know, whether they are famous, infamous, whatever, they can call the foundation at 386-252-2580, 252-2580, or they can email us directly at coachasher@hotmail.com. And that's coachasher@hotmail.com. We pay at the door. Tickets are $100 for the meal. And again, it's keeping in mind that, we're not putting any of this in our pocket. We're trying to make some lives better for some of the kids around here who it's a struggle. I mean, you and I know a little bit more than the average person when it comes to kids that leave, go off to school, come back because they don't know how to survive because they've been coddled so much, or they're just not used to what, the hustle and bustle of outside of Daytona Beach.
And Billy, quite frankly, the thing that it is when you look back to the kids that Coach Asher was head coach for and sent off to college, they were prepared and they were ready. And you look at the Jimmy Sullivans and the Lenny Lucases and the Ernie Cooks, an All-American. You look at these people, they were prepared. They went. Unfortunately, you and I have seen athletes that were a lot more gifted than some of the ones we've seen be successful, like Don Young, yourself, and me to be examples,
Right.
And one of the things that we do as a group with Oxio Sports Management and through the foundation and just through our business endeavors together is we really try to help. Right now we're working with 3 or 4 kids from this area that now it's an issue of growing up and making it to the next level. But that void still unfortunately exists in this community for whatever reason, that when these kids come out of high school, they don't have that opportunity to reach the heights they should reach. For you and I have talked about this before. We don't know the beauty and talent of athletes that are in this area that have never made it to the next level that should be there. You and I could tell countless stories out of school about guys we know that are better than the guys that have made it.
Sure.
But didn't make it because something was missing. And Oxio Sports Management is part of that plan. The Bud Asher Foundation is part of that plan. The way we interact with kids individually is part of that plan. So, I hope people will come out and support it. As you said, listen, we're not putting guys on 4-year scholarships to colleges, but these are kids that maybe need an extra boost. They need something extra. And we know if you have an alma mater and you love your school, they've been in trouble with the NCAA for doing what the decent thing was to do for people at some point. Whether it was Florida, Florida State, Miami, Oklahoma, whatever it is, to buy a kid a meal in a McDonald's is an NCAA violation. So this foundation helps those kids that we know that we take and help with, and gives them that opportunity. Listen, we've had on this show Curtis Mitchell, who is now the fastest human in the United States in 200 meters and one of the fastest in the world and a bronze medalist. This kid, no one knew about him in our town.
Right.
No one knew about him. I met him when EJ Qualley introduced me to him. You have EJ Qualley who works for me now, who's getting ready to go back and play. He's the defensive player of the year 2 years ago in the Canadian Football League. And I have members who love high school football that don't know who EJ Qualley is, but now they're enthralled with who he is because they see the talent that he is, and he's making it back into the bigs.
Right.
So this is what these endeavors that we have that don't make us money, that, when we say at Bodez by Tasso Company, our mission is to positively and to dramatically impact the quality of our community. These are the things we do for that reason. And this is why we're teamed together, and this is why we do what we do. And I hope that people understand that from a marketing standpoint. I hope you understand when you go out and choose a fitness center that you go in and you say, oh, this is very nice, it's $10 a month. What do they do in that community? You can go right down the line. I was thinking the other day, Billy, that all these kids that you and I have had the opportunity to work with, some of the kids that you went to school with, I worked with, I need to get hold of all those guys, get their jerseys and their accomplishments and their diplomas and put them up on a wall. I don't have enough wall space for the great kids that I've been blessed to be able to be through.
Sure.
And the one last thing I'll tell about tomorrow night is, for years I used to make TK Weatherall really, really mad because my brother used to tell me what a great athlete TK Weatherall was. And I would tease, this is how immature and ignorant we are, not understanding the greatness that we're in. And I was thinking about this the other night. I used to tease TK that he was a guy that could have caught the 2-point conversion that beat Alabama when Alabama was the number 1 team in the country. And I used to tease about that. I said, if I ever spoke at that event, I would never even mention that, because in the greatness that this guy is, that he elevated. We have great people like, the Brown and Brown people and that. But, this guy was the pioneer for that.
Sure.
He's one of the first people that made it big at the state legislature, that made a name, that went and was, we have guys like Maury Hussein who runs the Board of Regents down overseas, University of Florida, UCF, and that. But here's the guy that he broke the ground for it. He was the first guy, and I hope people will come out and support him with the foundation and support the role of what the foundation does in the community.
Right, and to kind of keep that going a little bit, I was thinking as you were talking, because you know me, I like to come through the front door on things. This isn't about like or dislike for Bud Asher, and that's what people have got to put. If we don't start putting things aside, then the kids that we're trying to help aren't going to get the help. And a lot of that time, the help has been falling on 1 or 2 people. And this is a chance for everybody to come together and collectively say, man, I had a hand in helping that kid. Nice. So, like you said, if they can come out, if they want to come out, that's fine. Eventually, you're going to come out because you're going to miss out on some of the good things. And just quickly, Our MC for the evening is David Lee Davis, also from the area, a graduate of Father Lopez. He was the youngest, at 19, one of the youngest guys to be on the Daytona Beach Police Department in the state back in the day. He's our MC, also a political consultant. He worked with Congressman Bill Chappell. The guest speaker, the keynote speaker, is Tom Owen. Coach Owen was Dr. Weatherall's coach at Mainland High School. I tracked him down in Alabama. He's driving in for this. There's going to be a proclamation. His brother Billy is going to speak. Dr. Cook is going to speak. We're going to keep him short. Dr. Cook is going to speak because he also has to pay a debt of gratitude to the Weatherall family. So it's a good time. It's fun. We keep it themey. It's not your usual. Everything is, we won't know what to expect sometimes because the speakers are going to go ahead and speak off the cuff, and that's the best part about it. But we are going to honor Dr. Weatherall for being a pillar of our community.
Well, there was a great laughs
and deservedly so.
There was some great laughs at the first one of these because you had Wes Chandler and you had Larry Little and you had the things going back and forth there, and you had Ernie Cook up there, and it was and you're going to see some people in the audience that I don't want to tell you who's going to be in there, but there's going to be some people that are coming for the first time. They're sort of big wigs, and they didn't know about the Bud Asher Foundation. So you don't have that excuse now out there. You do know about the Bud Asher Foundation. Actually, it's the Baron Bud Asher Foundation. And, so the phone number to call again, Billy, is 252-2580, 252-2580, or Coach Asher, and that's ASHER, at hotmail.com. Coach Asher at hotmail.com. And it's tomorrow night at the Hilton. 5:30 starts it off with a wine and cheese, and then there'll be a nice dinner, and I'm having the salmon. I know there's a petite filet out there.
Having the salmon as well. Thank you very much, because the salmon at the Hilton is delicious. Oh, I guess I should mention that we say it's business attire. It's everything. People are going to be in everything from suits to just slacks and a button down. So it's not a stuffy thing. It's just nice, casual, and come and see some people that you haven't seen in a while. And like you said, I gave to both Yubi and my mother, I gave a little bit of one of the people that's coming's trivia. Neither one of them had any idea.
Yeah. So.
And I can't wait to talk about that next week. Maybe we'll talk about this and wrap it up.
All right. Sounds good, Billy. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Tasso. Thanks, Dave.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, so that's Billy Gahagan, who is the voice of when you have that intro of me at the beginning of the show about.
You've waited a lifetime.
There you
Look
go.
better and
You've
feel
got
better.
Yes, you've heard it how many thousands of times. That was one of the most fun days that we ever had. You and I used to have some fun days.
Remember we used to do the Jane Fonda thing
right,
with the music?
When we would do the records, and we'd have to cue the record and get it right, and we'd sit there for hours to do just like a couple openings or bumper music from that stuff. We had Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I remember Arnold.
Yeah. So,
I'm going to pump you up.
And then you couldn't do the corrections like, you and I now could
it's
do
not digital. It's all on tape, or
yeah,
you had to get it right the first time.
Yeah. So it's neat to see what technology has done. And you talk about technology, Dave, look what technology is doing for us at Bodez by Tasso and Company. We've and I want to tell you, I sincerely want you to go out and take time to evaluate what you are right now in the physical being that you are, fitness-wise, health-wise, attitudinally, because this is a challenging time. I came in this morning and Al says, how you doing? I'm limping around on this knee. I've been trying to rehab for 4 months after a bad surgery, and I'm sitting there going, it gets frustrating. You're trying to rehab your body. You're trying to run a business in a tough environment. Perseverance and attitude needs to be very big about what we do, and we need to understand that there's nobody that's accomplished anything in life without going through perseverance. If they've accomplished something, the TK Weatheralls, the Jimmy Hugers of the world, the Bud Ashers, they faced adversity and they came through it, and they probably had to face the same adversity many times to come through it. So take a look at that, and it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to say, I don't have time to take care of my body. But I want you to close your eyes, not while you're driving, and think about what would happen to you if you don't make any changes in your life. If you don't make any fitness changes in your life at this point, what your life would be like 6 months to a year from now. But I want to invite you, and I want to ask you to say, I'm going to go make a change. I'm going to spend the next 6 to 12 months once to twice a week, investing in myself, whether it be the 15 to 20 minutes for a workout, whether it be that I get in a one-on-one program, whether it is I use the Fitness on Demand program, and think about what your life will be from that little incremental change that you make. And the Fitness on Demand allows us to offer now group exercise, yoga, Pilates. Hey, Dave, have you ever heard of Tabata? You ever heard of a class called Tabata?
No.
It is big it is big on the West Coast of America. It's big out in California. We have it. It is there. We have the kickboxing. We have the stretching. We have the 9-minute calorie burn programs. We have the 9-minute kickboxing programs. You have the meditation programs. You have the spinning programs. Everything you can imagine exercise-wise. In fact, when you walk up to the big iPod kind of deal that's on the wall, you look and you say, I want a dance class, I want a strength class, I want a flexibility class, I want a cycling class. You say, I want that class. What style class do you want? And then you say, I want it easy, I want it regular, I want it advanced. And you see these little icons come up on it, and you poke the icon that you say, oh, that one looks interesting. It's 31 minutes long. You poke it, now it gives you a description. And it says, okay, to do this class, you need to bring some dumbbells, you need to bring a mat, and you need to bring a towel. Okay? If you say, well, I want a cycling class, you're going to push the cycling one. It's going to come up with a program, and it's going to tell you what you need to bring. You need to bring your water bottle. You need to bring your towel, and you need to bring your bike. Okay, we have a bike there.
Yeah,
So,
I was going to say.
and we'll have more of them there. We have one right now. We're going to have more. So technology has certainly been a big positive. And, I look at what we do, and, I want to talk a little bit. I wanted to have Terry Dushinsky join me today, but hopefully we'll have a day when Terry can join us. And Terry has a program in Atlanta called Aging Gracefully. And I think too many times people think because of their age they can't be involved in exercise because they're just worried about it from the standpoint. But, the evidence is overwhelming. But I want to talk about this. What we do at Bodez is, it's science-based innovation. It's programming and technology. We value the scientific process, which is, put up a hypothesis, do your experimentation, draw your, pick up your information, draw your conclusion, and then make a statement about it. So we value the process, and we apply it to all our programming. Breakthroughs in the fitness industry or anywhere are not fad or market-driven. In other words, just because right now CrossFit or boot camp or Tabata or whatever it is the hot deal, doesn't make it better than what has worked. Maybe just as good, but doesn't make it better just because it's new. Doesn't mean that it is scientifically the safest thing to do or the best thing for you to do. So breakthroughs are not fad or market driven. They are the result of disciplined commitment to a scientific process. My background is science. My background is biochemistry. So it's a commitment to this process that leads to unparalleled fitness results that are safe, effective, and efficient. And they do it in a very time-effective manner. After all, your time and your health are two of your greatest assets. When they're gone, it's very difficult to get back your health, and you never get back. When that moment of time passes, you never get it back. So rather being married to an exercise business or philosophy, what I do is I'm committed to utilizing whatever preponderance of research points are that lead to the most effective approach. That's why I spend time in continuing ed. That's why I've been so embraced to the knowledge training principles that I originally was introduced to through my association with Jim Flanagan and Arthur Jones and these people, Ellington Dardanette. And that's why I continue to expound those, because they brought me to the dance. They are not only what we have, because certainly back in 1980, burst training didn't exist in the form it does. Things like SciFit didn't exist like they do. We didn't have the computerization. Arthur Jones told me that the one reason that would hold up exercise becoming efficient was that you didn't have the processors and computers to be able to make the machines that he needed to make to really, he knew the muscle physiology. Now we're seeing that. We saw that with some of the equipment we've seen recently come out. So the phone number is 672-6464. Set an appointment to come down. There's a $14 enrollment, $20 card fee, and you'll be off on your membership, and we will get you going in your program. Membership fees will run into $49 to $59.50 per month, depending on your commitment. But this is what you're going to do. You're going to improve your life. And as everything we do at Bodez, our memberships, our programs have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So we invite you to call 672 888-866-6464 and join Bodez by Tasso and Company Personalized Fitness today. Start your life. We'll start you where you're at today, and we'll get you to where you want to be. Remember, Bud Asher Foundation, Baron Bud Asher Foundation, call 252-2580 to set your appointment, and Bodez by Tasso and Company, 672-6464. Thank you to our sponsors, Dr. Lorenzo Fon with Acupuncture and Beauty, and Kalen Home Furnishings in Ormond Beach on US 1.
AM 1150 WNDB, Daytona Beach, Daytona's morning news station, locally owned and operated by Southern Stone Communications.